Hey guys, thank you for joining me on this 50+ degree night. Fantastic evening. Coming out of a 3-week freeze and then hitting a 50-degree day. This feels awesome. We've had a couple warmer days above freezing, and we've got 7 or 10 days above the daytime highs are going to be above freezing. It's going to feel good to be out in that sun. My dad and my brother are doing a fantastic job helping me out, combining and taking care of these customers while I have to go to my day job. Day job, that leads us to today's topic. How rich is a farmer? How much money do farmers make? Great question. I find it funny that Joe Public has the audacity, not a rude audacity, but just the audacity to ask farmers all the time, like, how much money do you make? I don't picture them when they go into the hardware store or the gas station, the car dealer, just the businesses that they deal with every day. Do they ask the owner of that place, like, hey, you've been running this gas station for a couple years now, how much money do you make? I don't see that, but farming is a very curious industry to the general public. Farming is a numbers game, plain and simple. We have input costs and fixed costs and taxes and depreciations, and it's a business like any other business. There's rich guys, there's poor guys. West central Minnesota, or pretty much western Minnesota, southern Minnesota, two very rich soil, old generation farms that survived the 80s very well. 2, 3, 5,000 acre farms. You know, 3rd, 4th, 5th generation. The current generation did not have to buy a lot. You know, there's tax things, you know, and they got into it, but they were given the farm. Let's be honest. It's not, I'm not insulting them. If I had kids, you freaking A right, I'd be handing them the farm too. And so I have 2 nephews that I will be handing the farm, and we are doing our best to make sure that they're protected from nursing homes and all. We got insurances on everything to make sure that them 2 guys get the farm. So if there's any ladies out there that need a secure future, you look up my 2 nephews. But anyhow, back on track. So we're not making much money. I am a startup farm, only doing a couple hundred acres. When you figure cost of living, over a couple hundred acres is a huge dollar. So for us, we're making no cash, but by simply making my equipment payments, we are gaining equity, we're gaining assets. So on paper, we're worth a lot of money, but we still have to borrow money to go Christmas shopping, if that makes any sense. Again, southern Minnesota, western Minnesota, 5th generation. He was riding in that combine with dad as a little kid. He enjoyed farming. He works with dad and mom the whole time. Now he's going to take over the farm. They hand him the keys. They work till they can retire. They figure out some sort of small buyout, small pension, but it keeps the farm in the family, keeps it safe from the 80s ever wiping them out again. And so on their 5,000 acre farm, my management style on a 5,000 acre farm in western Minnesota, I'm making a couple $100 an acre profit. There might be some of them that might say, oh yeah, big talk, big talk. When you come from nothing, when you got to build yourself up from nothing, you're going to make it, I'm going to make it, and I'd be making freaking a lot of money in western Minnesota, southern Minnesota. If I was a 5th generation kid, I'd be driving a new pickup, no doubt about it. Nothing against them, I respect them, I'm a little bit jealous of them. I'm very a little bit jealous of them. Let's be honest. But math, 500 acres, 5,000 acres, $100 an acre profit, that's 500 grand. Yep, at the end of the year, that means they're rolling equipment over for new equipment. They're getting a new pickup every couple of years. They're doing that for tax incentives and tax breaks to keep as much of that 500 grand in their pocket as they can. They're stashing some of it away, because if they get $0 per acre next year, they still got some of this money from this year to carry them through. Not every year is going to be a profitable year, even on a 5th generation farm that the kid just walked into the operation. There's years that they might lose money. Bad weather, bad crops, hailstorm wipes the crop out. Insurance is only going to pay 70% or whatever, and so it ain't all just, you know, silver spoon. You know, I did not want to imply that. I'm, you know, I just know what I can do given the opportunity. And so it's just another numbers game. On 300 acres, $100 profit, still only 30 grand. If I had $100 profit with 30 grand, that's nothing. An unforeseen breakdown or two during the season, a few lost custom acres, that 30 grand is gone. You know, and so, but on our farm, we can't do that $100 profit yet. We're just trying to pay our bills and build equity. And so our farmers rich, some are, some aren't. Can't judge a book by its cover. In 20 years, if I'm still farming 300 acres, I'm gonna be rich, because in 20 years, a lot of these land payments are gonna be done. A lot of these implement and equipment payments are gonna be done. And so we'll just be that much further ahead. So the per acre investment or the burden on a per acre basis will be tremendously less, where the money can come to us. And so farming isn't any different than any other business, other than we have zero control. Basically, we have some control, but for the most part, the government and the world sets our input costs and sets the price of our sale of our product going out. We're not a hardware store. We can't just add 5% annually to the nuts and bolts because everything else went up 5%. So we're just trying to keep up with inflation. Farming don't work that way. And so it's a very tough industry, but it's still business. You gain money, you lose money, you gotta ride your ups and downs. Just because you see new paint on a farm, don't mean he's rich either. For all you know, look at Farm Producers of the Year, the last several of them. These big, massive, $50 and $80 million operations go bankrupt. They go bankrupt owing $250 million, and they only had 20 or 50 million worth of collateral or assets. That ain't right. The banker and the farmer both, there's a whole lot of shenanigans going in on something like that. And so all that new paint didn't mean anything that he was rich. I bet he looked really good at all these meetings, like, I'm Farm Producer of the Year. You know what? He's in jail. Several of them are in jail. And their wives and their brothers and their dads and neighbors and cousins that were in with them are in jail. I don't plan on going to jail. I will be poor before I go to jail. But off topic. But yeah, don't judge that book by its cover. For all we know, that guy was just all leased equipment, padding his books to make it look good at the bank, to borrow more money, to keep growing. The buck finally stopped. It all finally caught up to him and comes crashing down. And then there you go. The taxpayers and everybody else at that bank are paying for his cheating and shenanigans. So yeah, our farmers rich, some are, some aren't. We got some little guys around here. They're not rich, but the farm is paid for. They're doing a couple hundred acres a year. Him and his wife are still just plucking away on that couple hundred acres like they did for the last 50 years. And they're paying their bills, and they're putting a little bit in their pocket. And so that's where we're gonna be someday. And so yeah, it's, you know, I hope that answers questions. If you guys have any more questions on how rich are farmers, please drop a line in the comment section. I thank you for watching the video. Hope that helped some of you non-farmers realize how loaded I am when you see me at work, or just the Joe Public farmer. He might be rich, he might not be rich, but he's busting his ass either way. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.